assignment was to draw a chessboard and the chess pieces, and to basically create the pieces and create blocks so you can actually reuse the pieces and things like that. Use your layer control to actually take advantage of the either the black side or the white side. Okay, so we're going to start. I'm going to draw a line. Okay, now we know that we're going to draw our chessboard first. We're going to draw the outline. Okay. I'm just going to go 0, 0, 0. I'm going to say at 16. Since our square sizes are 2 inches, 8 squares, 0 degrees, and then at 16 at 90 degrees, at 16 at 180 degrees, and close. Giving sense? There's our chessboard. Okay, but we need our squares. So I can do this a couple of ways. I could actually draw individual squares, 2-inch squares, and then array those around the thing, or I could actually use lines. Easiest way for me that I see is just draw lines, and I'm just going to draw a line from 2, 0 and F8 up 16, boom, and then I'm going to offset that, and I could use the array command or I could use offset, and it's such a small number. Using offset just works. Pick, whoops, pick. Okay, then I draw a line from 0, 2. No, line from 0, 2, and then 16, and do the same thing here. Offset, set 2, offset 2. Boom. All right, then I can do the same thing here. Okay, so there's chessboard. Easy enough. Now, if you wanted to create a little outline around it, you actually do like a 0.125 around it, offset it, and put a little around the edge to give you a little more source there. Okay, so what we do now, we can actually create a layer. Go ahead and create a layer for the board. And we'll set that to like this color here. All right, and now I can actually just select the board here and just highlight all these and then set that onto the board layer. Then I can actually turn that off as needed. Okay, now I'm going to draw a box. 2, 2, 2, and close. Now here and here, I'm going to actually kind of draw my shapes of my pawns and things like that. Now, you don't have to do super fancy with this or anything like that, but you could kind of, you're going to be pretty much mirrored with the exception of the knight is going to have leaning to one side or the other, and the bishop could have a notch on one side or the other as well, but depends on how you want to actually do it. So draw a line from, say, the mid of here up to perpendicular of here, and you can draw a line, P line from, say, E and D point of here, come across here, and just come over a little bit. We could say, oh, let's go with 0.5, and then we come up, create kind of like a base shape or whatever it is, and you come up like 0.125 here, and then come across here. And to make it simple, as a simple pawn, I'm just going to kind of go here and then do an arc, and I'm going to say for to near here. And then I can actually mirror this. This is a really basic pawn, okay? From near here, boom, F8 here, boom, and that's kind of my pawn. Now, if I want to create a little bit more of a smaller head on here or something like that, I could do that. I could stretch this down, and then I could draw a circle to E and D point of here and kind of put it like so, and then I could trim this all out. I can erase this up here, and then I can mirror this. And then there's kind of really basic pawn. Now, if I wanted to make this base a little bit bigger, I could. I'm actually going to move everything up just a little bit. And let's say 0.125. Good. All right, then I can erase the center line. I can p-edit this all together and just say J for join. And then there's kind of my pawn. Now, if I don't really like this, I think that, holy crap, a big bird just flew by my window. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stretch this in a little bit so it looks a little bit neater. I'm going to go over here, 0.0625, and I'll do the same thing here. 0.0625. Anything you do to one side, you want to do to the other side. Think of it as like algebra class. Okay, so there's my pawn. Now the insertion point for this pawn probably needs to be either in the middle of the box it's going to be in, or at the bottom of the box. Those are the only 2 points that really make sense in this, and you're going to keep them oriented in this shape, so you're always going to insert them in a 0 rotation, so you don't necessarily have to drag this to the right to try and make that happen. So let's make a block, and we're going to call this pawn. All right, I'm going to select the objects. And then I'm going to pick a point, and I'm going to say M2P, because I like in the middle of the square. EMD point of there and EMD point of there. Now, granted, it requires me to pick multiple points to get to that point, but that's okay. We can actually use snap and find that point because that's going to be in a 1-inch increment when I'm placing these things. So now I can pick OK, and I'm going to have allow exploding is fine, and I'm going to convert to a block. Pick OK. Boom. Now I can actually move this from INS of this to, and I know this is 2 and 3. 3 would be here, so I can say 1, 3, and that's exactly where that's going to be at that particular point. Now I can actually use the array command, and I can say I want rectangular, and I want number of rows is going to be 1, columns is going to be 8, and this between columns is 2. And I'm done. There, I've got my pawns. Now I can actually mirror those up, mirror these, and I can use a window, and I can say mid of here, boom, across here, and then I can say erase source object. No, want to keep that. Now something here is I've made those upside down, so I'm going to actually go ahead and put them here. And what I can do is I can actually cheat, and I can come across here. Actually, I grabbed the lines. I don't want the lines, so I'm going to change my window selection to not grab the lines as well. So I'm going here, and now you see I have a -1 here. All right, so if I set that to 1, it's going to flip and go right back to where it needs to be. All right, and let's see, rotation is going to be 0. And now I'm good to go. All right, so I have my pawn set, I need to create a layer for each one of these. So let's go ahead and create a layer called, we're going to do blue and red, okay, blue side. And we'll set that to, actually, blue's kind of hard to see. You know what? We'll make it work. Make it a, yeah, just make it blue. All right. And then we'll also make a red side. And make it red. All right. So now I can take these, boom, and I can put this on the red side, and I can put these up here on the blue side. Okay, so you kind of see how you can actually kind of make things happen. Now I need to create some other pieces. We'll go ahead and create the rook. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this over because I can cheat and grab, no, not there. Copy that from INS of that to M2P of END point of that and END point of that. Okay, now I can explode this. Boom. And it's back to the 0 layer. Notice this, because as soon as you explode something, it goes back to the base elements of that block. Even though that block was on the red side, okay, as soon as you explode it, all that goes away because it's no longer in a block inserted on that layer. It goes back to its default properties of how that block was actually created. So that's why it's actually defaulted back to everything being on the 0 layer, if you notice here. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and create let's do the rook. Now I can actually just explode this, and I can kind of straighten this stuff out. I can erase this, and I can kind of just take these and bring them in to point X of END point of here. I could also just redraw lines. It doesn't really matter. To point X of END point of here. Boom. All right. And now I can actually stretch this out a little bit so it's a little bit neater.
Hey, can you go through that command process a little slower?
Which command process, Woody?
This one that you just did, where you yeah, the whole thing there.
What I did, the grips?
Yeah, when you gripped it and then the command point of here and here.
Okay.
I need to see that again.
Okay, sure. All right, so I select the item I want to modify. I'm using the grips to edit this thing. I can also use the stretch command. They're going to be the same result. I'm going to pick this point. Okay, now let's give me a point where I'm actually grabbing this. It's the same thing as doing this and doing a crossing. And I cross that edge, and then I go from the endpoint of here. It just takes a little bit few more steps when you actually use the stretch command, but same process because I'm just, I picked it first and then I selected and told what actions I wanted to do. So that's the grip edit versus stretch. It's the same thing. So we'll stick with the grips just since that's I think part you were kind of interested in. So I pick this. As soon as you pick it, it goes to red. All right. You can add additional points if you want to using the shift key, but we're not going to get into that right now. All right. So right now I want this to line up with this point down here. I want the X value of this. So I'm going to say point and X. If you notice that I typed in point X down here, and now I'm going to hit enter. And this is say point X of what? I can just pick a point, or I just actually type in endpoint of here and I pick there, and now it locks in. I can't change it. Now, if I change the Y, I can give it a different point. The Y can go up and down, but the X is locked in because I did point X. So I'm going to hit F8 and leave it just how I have it to keep it where I want it because I want it to stay on here. Now I can actually drag this way, or I can use the at 0, 0, 0, but I'm just going to drag and put it right there. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Boom, drag this over to point X of END point of here, and I just drag across because it's locked in. If I come up too high, it'll change the Y value, but I don't want to move that. So if I drag across here, the Y stays exactly where it's at. Doesn't matter what side I want it because it's looking for Y and Z. But since I'm not actually moving in my Z plane, it's just going to affect the Y. And there I am. And so I've got that. So I'm going to use the stretch.
It was the point X part that I missed. That's what I needed.
Okay, you got it. Now I'm going to grab this. I'm just going to stretch this over. I'm going to say 0.125. Boom. I'm going to do it again here and stretch over 0.125. Okay, and I'm going to stretch all this up to about, let's say 0.5. Boom. Now I'm going to mirror these down here, or mirror this point down here from mid of here. Oops, mid of here. Boom. That's a little higher than I want it to be, so I'm going to move it down just a little bit. I'm going to say 0.25, and then I'm going to stretch this part down. Use the stretch command, drag across here. And I'm going to do it from endpoint of here down to endpoint of here. Now, I need to put a couple of notches in here, so I'm going to draw a P line from, say, near here. If I had Snap-on, it'd probably be a little cleaner, but I'm going to say 0.125 down, and then 0.125 over, and then 0.125 up. Oops, I did that wrong. 0.125 up. Boom. And I can trim out that right there. Now I can copy this from here, from mid of here to go to the midpoint. So I'm going to say point X of mid of down here. Oops. Point X of endpoints, what I'm actually looking for, aren't I? So I can't do that. So I'm going to just pick, it's not going to find it. I'm going to say point X again. And I'm going to say endpoint because I have an endpoint in the middle here. And then I drag across and I'm done. And then I'm going to mirror this from endpoint of here, across here. And now I've got those. Now I can trim out these other lines. Boom. And now I have now looking at my base, it looks like it needs to be a little thicker. So I'm going to go ahead and stretch this up a little bit. And I'm going to say 0.125. Good. Kind of looks like a rook. I think we're good to go with there. So I'm going to block this. And I'm going to go from select the objects. Yeah, what I didn't do is I didn't make it a P line. So I'm going to go ahead and make it a P line. And use the P edit command. And I'm going to select here, because when I exploded it before it was a P line, it explodes back to base entities, which would be the line. I'm going to say, yes, I want to turn it into. And now I've turned that one that I'm on into a polyline. So I'm going to join it with all the other lines. I'm just going to say here to here, highlight them all with a window or crossing and hit enter. And now they're all one. So if I pick that, it's all one entity. All right, so we're going to block this. And we're going to select the objects. Boom. And I'm going to say pick point is going to be M2P of mid of here and mid of here. Notice I didn't have to use the corners. I can use the mids because it's all the same size. So I'm all good there. Okay, I'm going to pick OK. Oh, I need to type the image. Okay, rook. All right. And pick OK. Now it's a block. So I can take this and I can move this from INS of here, and I'm going to go ahead and take that to 1, 1. Now I can use the mirror command, or I can just copy it over and move it over, either way. So I'm just going to use mirror from mid of here, boom. And then I'm going to do mirror again from mid of here, boom. And again, I'm going to pick on this, pick on this, pick on this, and I'm going to set all their scales to be 1, because I don't want to have an uneven scale block. I want to make sure they're all 1, and then I'm going to make sure they're all set to 0 rotation. Okay, now all I have to do here is highlight these two and put them on the blue side, and highlight these and put them on the red side. All right, now what we're going to do here, I could go ahead and draw all these other little pieces and just kind of trace in some things. I'm going to show you guys how to kind of, not necessarily cheat, but use another tool at your disposal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the web. I'm going to go to the website, click on here, and I'm going to type in ChessBoard view and hit enter. And we go to images. Boom. I'm just going to kind of get in here somewhere, find a good image that we're looking for. That's too detailed. This looks great right here. I like this one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this picture. I'm going to say save image as, and I'm going to save this to my local drive somewhere. All right, so I'm just going to put it in my documents folder. And we'll call it that. And it says chessboard. I'm going to say .jpg, JPG, because it was defaulting not to save as an image. So I'm going to actually make sure it's actually an image. And I'm going to click on it to make sure it actually opens. And yes, it does. So we're good to go there. I'm going to close that. Now I'm going to go back to the AutoCAD, and I'm going to reference this in. So if you look over here, you have external references. If that's not up, you can get external references by typing in xref. Okay, that's the name of the can, and that'll bring up the xref dialog box here. Now from here, you have several options of what you can actually reference in. You can reference in another drawing, an image, a DWF, a DGN, a PDF, a point cloud, or a coordination model. Okay, what we're going to be referencing in is an image. All right, this basically allows you to grab a variety of different file types that you might actually pull in. So I'm going to actually go to my documents folder, and go down to documents, and I'm going to sort by date and get the last one I just had there. Okay, I pick open, and I'm going to pick OK. I'm saying, yeah, I'm good with that. All right, now I'm place it there. Now you're looking, it's like, well, that's not really the right size, is it? It's like, no, it isn't. But I can actually scale this just like I can anything else. So I'm going to scale this from endpoint of, say, actually, I'm not going to use endpoint. I'm actually going to pick from like here. Okay, and I'm going to try and get right inside that square. I'm going to go from here, and I'm going to say R for reference. Now, this is a little bit complicated, so you guys might want to watch this one a few times. So I'm saying reference because I want to pick a point or a distance from here to here, and I want that to be 2. That's the size of my squares. So if you look at it now, it almost fits inside mine pretty well. So now I can take this, move it here, and I can take my square, move my square from here, from mid of here. Now you don't have lines or anything like that on here you can actually do with, but actually this is not really my favorite one to use, but we'll go ahead and trace with this. Okay, I thought I grabbed one that was more simple, but I'm going to place this here. All right, now I've got that there. Now what I can do is I can actually just use the P-line command, and I can kind of trace this. Okay, so I'm going to go from here to here. I'm going to say arc. I'm going to kind of put it there, and then stay in another arc here as well, and then another arc here. Boom, and then I'm going to do another arc to here, another arc to here, another arc to here. Now keep in mind, I'm just drawing arcs because I know that entity that I'm using is arcs. Okay, and I'm going to say to about there. Now I've drawn half of this. All right, so now what I want to do is come back in here and use grips to kind of cheat this and kind of bring these into line to where they're supposed to be. And again, this is crude. I'm just doing this to kind of show you have different options, and I only have, about another 30 minutes for this class. Okay, so I'm going here, and now I'm going to grab over here, and I'm going to bring that to there. I'm going to take this to here. This is not quite, I didn't put enough arcs in there, but we'll kind of get it we'll kind of make it work. Okay, this is just a crude example. Okay, and kind of we're going to bring that in a little more of a drop there. Okay, now I can draw a circle, and I can put it in the middle point. Say point. I'll say point X of mid of this, and I'll put it here, and I'll just try and draw a circle so big. All right, so this doesn't necessarily line up, may go past or whatever. I'll trim that out in just a second, but we're kind of getting there. So I'm going to go ahead and, I didn't draw the arcs down here, so I need to do that. P line from E and D point. I can start here, and I can say arc to actually about there, and then to there, and then line to somewhere up in here. Actually, yeah, well, yeah, I'm gonna leave that alone. Okay, now I'm gonna fix this. This is not the bishop type I was actually looking forward to using, but we're going to use it anyway. Line from, okay, I'm going to say center of here to bring this down. Now what I can do is I can extend this with the extend command and click that, and all is good. So now I can just mirror this over, mirror this from the D point of this over, boom. And then I can actually put a little more detail into it if I want to. Okay, oops, I forgot what piece. From mid, up there, no, from E and D point of, nope, from CN of, let me get my crap right. There we go. All right, now I can actually go ahead and draw another P line from arc from E and D point of here to E and D point of here. I can do another one from E and D point of here, arc to E and D point of here. Boom. What did I do there? I messed that up. Okay. P line. I didn't do that very well. Also, you'll notice when you're drawing over images, it gets kind of difficult to see sometimes. This one happens to be pretty colored, so your white shows up pretty well, but sometimes you get in color that has a lot of white. You can always change your color to be something different so it shows up better on that background. Okay. I'm just going to draw in this cross, kind of from the point X of center. I'm using the center of this circle because I want to keep the cross in the middle. So I pick that X point now. Now I can just pick here and drag it down and pick, and then I can actually mirror this one. And I can use the midpoint of this, and I can cheat and use a 45-degree angle to get it to where it actually turns into a cross. So I'm going to say at 1 at 45 degrees, boom, and now I have my other piece there. I say enter to not erase, P line from E and D point of here, A for arc, and I'm going to say E and D point of here. But now we'll do it again from E and D point of here, arc to E and D point of here. But yeah, again, I'm going to fix it and kind of line it up with the image. And again, this is crude. I'm not trying to make it super perfect. I'm just trying to show you guys how it kind of can work out. Okay. All right. There you go. And it looks pretty good. Now I can actually bring this down a little bit farther and kind of bring it across here. And then I can trim out anything else that's actually in there if I wanted to. All right. We'll go ahead and trim that up a little bit. I'm going to trim this. And I'm going to trim this. And this, and this, and this. So now I have my lines in here. What happened to my, I didn't draw my line in here, did I? P line from E and D point. We have here, arc to E and D point. P of here. But and we'll grab that one and put that up in here. So, all right. Not beautiful, not perfect, but it works. Okay. So I'm going to block this. And we'll call this bishop. Look up here. Bishop. All right, I'm going to select my objects, do a window, and hit enter. And my insertion point, pick my point, it's going to be M2P of E and D point of here and E and D point of here. All right, and I'll pick OK. And now it's a block. And now I can actually move this from INS of here to, we know this goes right here. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 1. And there we are. And then again, I can do the same thing I did before. I can seal, I can change this to the appropriate layer, which is the red side. I can mirror this from mid of here, mirror from mid of here, done. And now I can actually highlight these and change their scales and rotation to all be correct. 1 and 0. All right. And then again, adjust the side here. Blue side. All right. Okay. Now, next thing I'd do is I'd actually move this over to, say, the horse. Right. Or the knight. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to say, actually, I'm just going to get 2 because it's going to be pretty close here because I'm still eyeballing that. This is a wretched looking knight, but that's okay. I'm going to use the, you can use a feature called the trace command. I don't recommend using the trace command, but I'm just going to draw this again the same way I just did with P lines. And I'm just going to kind of trace over it. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to pick here. I'm drawing a line, boom. And I'm going to do a line up to about here, and then I'm going to do an arc. Okay, I'm going to come up into about right in here somewhere. And then actually, then I'm going to do another arc to about here, and then I'm going to do a line down. And again, this is not meant to be super pretty. I'm just trying to make it kind of look kind of similar. Okay, I'm going to do an arc over to here, boom, a line up to here, boom, and then an arc over to here, boom, and then arc down to here, and then to here, and then to here, and then line to E and D point of here. But now I'm going to go back, use my grips, pick this, drag it up into here, kind of make it look good. Grab here, coming into here, kind of inverting. Okay, and then I'm going to grab this one. If I can find the grip over here, bring that down to about there. This one's going to be a kind of a jaw coming in here. And this looks good. That looks good. And that actually doesn't look too bad. I could grab these two here together and kind of squeeze this a little bit, and kind of make it look a little bit closer to that. And then I could actually draw some P lines in here for these as well. Oh, what did I just do? No. Okay. P line from, okay. I'm going to change my draw order. Yeah. All right. Notice how it's just appearing on me in the background. It's kind of hard to see. All right. P line from, I'm just going to draw an eye here. Arc. Boom. There. And boom. I'm going to pick it. Again, it's hard to see. I'm going to kind of put the eyeball there. I'm going to draw a circle right here. Boom. And then I'm going to draw just a line here. We're just trying to make a line look like something there. And then I'm going to draw a line here from near here to there. And I'm going to draw a line from near here to here and to near there. And then I'm going to draw an arc, a P line from here, arc, up to here, and then over to here. The line command. Raise last. P line from arc. And that graininess is sometimes what happens with your dealing with images. It kind of gets a little undo. A for arc. Okay, I'm picking this point, and then I'm picking this point. Now I'm picking this, and I'm going to drag this one over to here, and I'm going to drag this one over to here. Okay, now I can block this. We'll call this a knife. Type. I'm going to select objects. Again, you can't necessarily see them, but they're there. Now when you highlight them, you can kind of see they're there. And again, it's not the prettiest knight I've ever seen. I'm going to pick a point. I'm going to say M2P of E and D point of here and E and D point of here. And pick OK. Now I'm going to move this from here, from INS of here to 3, 1. Boom. Mirror. Let's see how this actually turned out. It's not beautiful, but it's not great. Okay. Now, if I look at this, I'm like, I want to fix that. I want to take that and trim that out better, or make these ears look a bit more consistent. I could do that. I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'll show you how to use the B edit command probably after we get done with this, so we can kind of sharpen things up. Okay, so I'm going to mirror this from the mid of here. And I'm going to mirror this and this from mid of here to here. And then I'm going to grab these. And I am going to change the scale to 1. consistent, and 0 for the location. All right. And again, I'm going to grab them, select, set them to the right layer, blue side, right layer. And I apologize, blue is actually a rigid color to actually use for that. Let's actually change that so you can actually see a little better. I'm gonna make it yellow. Okay, F2, yellow. The goal here is to make it visible so you guys can actually see it. If I could type, it would be a benefit. Okay, and yellow. Okay, there you go. So much easier to see that. Okay, now all we have is the king and the queen. All right, so we can draw the king and we can draw the queen. All right, let's draw the queen. We can draw. I'm going to move this over 4 places. 4. I'll just draw the queen real quick. All right. Let's just do the king and the queen are going to have similar bases. So we'll just kind of make it happen. I'll do it. Actually, I'm going to use my ellipse. And I'm going to draw ellipse. I'm going to, you pick the center. Okay. You draw one side and the other side. I kind of messed that up. And now I can actually take this and kind of stretch this out a little bit. Boom, move that from center of here. Oh, going to be from mid of center of there to point X of mid of, because we're going to keep it in line with our element here. All right. Let's see. I'm going to change now the 0 layer color to a different color so I can actually see what I'm working with. I'll change it to green. That should be a little more standout. Okay. You can kind of see it and draw order front. I'm going to set this image to the back using draw order. Send it back. Boom. All right. And that usually takes care of it, but it's being difficult because the image, the way this particular image is displaying. All right. So now I'm going to go from here, P line from QUA. Oh my God. P line from QUA. If you typo things, guys, don't panic. It just happens. Okay. F8. I'm going to come up to here. I'm going to come to here. I'm going to come down to here. Come up to here. Come to here. And then I'm going to go to the point X of mid of this, but up here. Okay, so I'm going to pick it here. Boom. Now I've got half of it drawn here. So now I can draw an arc. See from, I'm going to say near here to E and D point of here. Okay, and then E and D point of there. All right. So now I have kind of an arc going across here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw a line from E and D point of, actually I want to draw a line, mirror this, okay, from E and D point of here, straight down the middle, to get my other point across there. I should go ahead and draw my circles in, CK. I'm going to draw a circle. Okay, I'm just going to kind of put it here. I'm going to grab it from here. I'm going to grab it from just a spot on here somewhere. I'm not too picky right at the moment. Point up here, and I'm going to copy that from E and D point of there to E and D point of there to E and D point of there. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to kind of line this one up a little bit better. So I'm going to grab it from here and I'm going to say point X of, actually I'm going to move it from, move that from QUA of that to E and D point of that. That gets that lined up just the way we want it. These aren't too bad. I'm going to leave it the way that is. That looks okay. Now I'm going to mirror this and this from E and D point of that. Boom, done. All right, I'm going to draw, I can extend this arc now over to here. We'll see how it looks. Boom. Didn't quite line up quite the way I wanted to perfectly, but I kind of drag it down or whatever. Again, I'm not going to clean this up too much. I'm not too overly concerned about it. I can use the offset command now to kind of offset this down a little bit to give me the other line work that we were kind of looking for there. And I'm going to leave that like that is and kind of call that good. All right. I'm going to block this. Again, it's green right now, but it's because I only changed the 0 layer to green. So it's not anything special in that. Okay. This is the queen. Okay. And we're going to specify select objects, pink, and we're going to specify a point. It's going to be, pick a point from M to P of END point of here and END point of here. All right, I'll pick OK. Now it's a block. I can move that from there, from INS of there to, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 7, 7, comma 1. So now I can change this here to here, and I can mirror it. Boom, the L, that to there. All right, so I've changed the layers. Now we just need to draw the king. Okay, so I'm going to move this over to, and here we are. We're going to copy, actually, I'm going to copy the queen. Copy that from M to P of END point of that to END point of, no, that INT. That. And I'm going to place that right to M2P of END point of here and END point of here. Oops. END point of here. There. Now I can explode that. And again, it's going to go back to green. Boom. And you kind of see it. I don't care for all this stuff up here, so I can erase that stuff. Boom. Maybe. Boom. All right, so that part's gone. Now I want to trim this out because I want this base part here to stay. So I can say trim that, and I can probably trim. Yeah. All right, so what I need to do is I need to extend it out first. Extend. All right, and boom. Good. All right, so I've extended it out. Now I can trim this and this. Okay. Okay. So now we should have at least the base there. All right, kind of looks good. I'm going to draw a P line from the END point of somewhere around in here. It's there. And I'm going to do a straight line up to here. I'm going to say arc. And I'm going to bring the arc up to about here, and then another over to here, and then another over to here, and then down to about here. Okay. And now we can just mirror that, or hopefully that's in the middle. It might not be in the middle, but we'll move it to the middle. All right, so I'm going to draw a line from mid of our square straight up, so we have a spot to get to. And if you look, it actually is kind of, it's close to there, so I'm going to bring it to near here. Okay, I'm going to push that back out a little bit there. All right, and now I kind of have the shape that we're looking for. We're going to go ahead and draw another arc here, a P line here. It's going to be from near here, line up to hit ortho off, up to about here, and then arc. Oops, undo. There. Boom, and then arc. Boom, and then I'm going to put it right into here. Boom. And then we're going to mirror that, and that from near there, drag straight down. We have both sides. We need to cross up here. I have the line to work already there. I'll go ahead and just draw this up. And then I'm going to draw a line from here to here. And I'm going to make sure I move it from the middle of it to the perpendicular to this line here. All right, so now you see we kind of have our shape there. We're looking good. I can trim out the line a little bit here. Boom. And now we have what kind of looks like our king. So I'm good with that. I can get rid of the line from here. Boom. Now we should be good. All right, good. Block. I'm going to call this king. We're going to specify the objects. And let's specify the point. It's going to be M2P of END point of here and END point of here. Okay, pick OK. Now I can move that from INS of that to, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So it's going to be 9, 9, 1. Boom. CL. that there, boom, mirror that from mid there up, done. Change that to the green side, yellow side, 1 and 0 rotation. Boom. Oh, I didn't change this to 0, did I? Did not. Didn't fix that earlier. 1 and 0. Boom. Okay. So now we probably need to go ahead and do our checkerboard pattern. Okay, we can do that a couple of different ways. We can go ahead and just do a hatch inside here. What I can do is I can turn off these because I want to do a hatch. Okay, but I want to go ahead and turn off the board pieces, or I could actually just do a hatch inside one of these, call that a block, and then just array that around as I wanted to. So either way works. I'm just going to turn off the blocks so you can see how you kind of work that. I'm going to get rid of the chessboard because we don't need it anymore. Okay. Detach is gets rid of it. You can unload it to where it's not showing up anymore, or you can actually detach it. I want to detach it. I don't care. Actually, here's a square right here. We'll just use this square. Hatch. I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to select objects or pick points. If you pick points, you have to make sure this is actually well sealed. If there's any little edges or anything like that are kind of messed up, it might get kind of flaky, especially if you start to scale and things like that. I'm going to say enter here. All right. So what I can do is actually pick the style that I want. If I click here and I go to other predefined, I can click solid and pick OK. All right. And pick OK. And now it's a solid block. So now I can actually move this. Okay, and make sure I move this. We're going to do solid starting in that lower left-hand corner. Okay, and we're going to move this from. Actually, I didn't make it a block, so we need to make it a block first. Block. We're just going to solve this solid square. Select objects. Yes, I'll select objects. Boom. And if you can pick a point, it's going to be MVP of mid of that and mid of that. Pick OK. Now I'm going to put this on, we'll call this layer, we'll call this black. Actually, well, let's see. We're going red and yellow, so maybe it needs to be, yeah, we can leave it. We'll call it black. Boom. And we're going to leave that as white. Okay, we'll call that good. All right. So this is now going to be on the white layer, or we can call it black. Oh, it's black layer. Okay. All right. And oh, layer, need to set that to white. I did. Okay. Boom. By there, black purpose. I must have did something weird here. Me edit this. Oh, you know what? Let's edit that. I'm going to edit the solid square. Boom. I only block the outline. That's where my problem is. Okay, be closed. And see, I didn't actually pick the hatch when I did it, so I'm going to explode. Boom, that, and I'm going to block again. And I'm going to pick the name of my block, solid square, and it was pick a point. It's going to be MPP of EMB point of here, and oops, I hit it, and EMB point of here. And select my objects. I'm make sure I window everything, crossing as well, just to make sure, and pick OK. All right. Redefine, yes. All right. So now I can take that, put that on the black layer, and now I see it's actually the right color. Now I can move this from INS of that to 1,1. Boom. And now you're getting into the problem where you have draw order issues. All right. So you click on this and you type in draw order. I'm going to say B for back, so this goes back, so you kind of see that's actually there. Okay, now I'm going to do a dash array, and I'm going to do now it's hard to select a hatch sometimes, but if you kind of get to the edge, you notice it's actually selecting all the wrong things. Okay, I can actually cheat and say L for last because it's the last thing I did, but you also want to know that you can turn off layers, you can hide objects and things like that, and I'll show you how to do that in another video, but right now I'm just using L for last. Okay, I'm going to say R for rectangular. Number of rows is going to be 1, and then columns is going to be 4, and they are 4 inches apart. But all right, and here we are. You can see that's how that's working. I'm going to copy. All right, I'm going to copy these. Now you notice if you highlight over, you get in the right spot, it eventually selects it. Notice I'm kind of moving the cursor around to kind of get it. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. It's maybe, yeah. So you have to sometimes play with a little bit. And I'm going to go from 1, 1 to, what is that going to be? It's going to be 3, 3, 3, 3. Boom. All right. And now I can copy previous and these last 4. Not that one. Boom. Again, I could use the array, or again, I'm moving this around to try and catch that, or the just copy command is what I'm going to do here. And I'm going to pick a spot. I'm going to say 4, and then I'm going to say 8, and then I'm going to say 10. Boom. And now I've got, oops, not 10, undo, 12. Make sure I'm dragging in the right direction, 12. And now I'm done. I've got that all done. Now I can cheat. I want to move all the squares to the back. Okay, you can use this kind of object over here. Hit escape, make sure nothing is selected. You can use the quick select. That's this little button here, or you can type in Q select. Okay, and it's going to offer you this. It shows you apply to the entire drawing. Yes. Object type, you want to select blocks. Select only the blocks. And scroll down, we're going to select the particular block that is named solid square. And I pick OK, and now that's all that's been selected. So now I can type in draw order, and I say B for back, and now they're all on the back. Now the yellow does not show up for crap on this particular white layer, so I'm going to change that to another color again. Let's pick a different color for the yellow side. Let's go for, it's a good color here. Magenta, why not? All right, there we go. That shows up a little better. And now you can see we have our board. Now, what's nice about this is you can actually take any one of these and move your pawn out. Say if you want to go two spots or 4, you moved it down 4, you kind of in this particular spot. You can come over here, you can actually move this up 4, boom, and you kind of float around and kind of do your pawn. Sorry, black and magenta are pretty close in color. That's my bad, but you kind of get the point of how this board can actually be created. All right, guys. I think that kind of wraps up the class. I will put out another assignment later, probably tomorrow, and kind of give you guys some work to go over. Questions?
No, I don't have a question, but I did just learn the value of mirror over copy.
Yeah, I was about to say the exact same thing. You doing that mirror thing made it look so much easier than the way I did it.
Yeah. You use the mirror aspect of it, and just, then you can kind of tweak some of the settings and things like that. When you're mirroring blocks and you're working with blocks, they're going to make things so much easier for you and make life just a much cleaner method of doing things. Okay. But I wanted you guys to take away, kind of using the array command, using your O snaps, using, how they, actually just having things on a grid, like 2, 2, you make all these there 1, 1, the insertion point of each season kind of makes life a lot easier for you. And I also wanted you to kind of get familiar with using, bringing in some other components into your drawing to sketch from or make that kind of happen. I do not recommend XREFing images into your drawing other than to kind of steal data from and then get rid of them. Do not leave them attached to your drawing. You can, yes. I don't recommend it because images don't plot cleanly, especially when you scale your plot or something like that. Vector is what we have in here, scales clean. So if you scale this up 20 times, it's great. If you scale that other image up, it starts to get grainy, especially the size of the paper that you're going to end up printing it on. All right, guys. Well, I guess you guys have a good night, and thanks for attending class. Sorry I was late. I will get this uploaded, and there's, like I said, there's a ton of other material up there that I put up there. Go ahead and start taking a look at that and start going through that. And when you get kind of through that, let me know, and I'll upload a little bit more.
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
All right. All right, guys. Y'all have a good one.
You as well.
All right. Talk to you later.